For today's video, we have a semi-automatic rifle tier list. Now, this is going to be a combination of both DMRs and just regular semi-auto rifles. I didn't really know how else to do a tier list like this because I didn't want to include the semi-auto rifles in the fully automatic list. So I just decided to group the DMRs and the semi-auto rifles together in one list. But starting off, we're going to be starting with the SR25, and we're going to start off strong. We're going to go S tier. I think the SR25 is probably just the best DMR in the game. So that's why it is going S tier. Next, we have the RSAS. I'm going to put the RSAS in A tier. I do think the RSAS is really good. The only reason I'm going to put it in A tier is because it is way more expensive to mod out compared to a SR25. And when it comes to building guns, I do like, as much as I like building the best looking and best usable weapon, cost does come into play. So I like to keep my costs at a minimum if possible, and that's why RSAS is going below SR25. Next, we have the SVD. I'm going to put the SVD in S tier. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to put the SVD in A tier for a couple reasons. One of them being it is very expensive to mod out. The gun itself is like 90K, I believe, just for the gun. If you want to make the gun usable, because the gun suffers a lot from ergo. You don't really have a lot of ergo when you're building an SVD, I feel like. So if you want to build a good SVD, you do have to spend a lot of money for it, and that's why it is going A tier. Other than that, I do think it is really good. I actually do quite like using the SVD. Next up, we have the M1A. I'm going to put the M1A in S tier. You don't have to do too much modding to the M1A, and it uses 7.62x51, so I just think it is very solid. I don't think it's better than the SR25, but I do think it is S tier and very good. Next up, we have the SVT. It's very cheap to use. All you have to do is buy the gun, and then you just have to get... I mean, the 10 rounders are fine. The 15 rounders are obviously better. And then you just need the PU scope, which is detachable very easily while you're in raid. So you can go iron sights for close quarters, and then the PU scope for long range if you need it. But it is definitely the best all-around gun. So that is why it is going S tier. Next up, we got the SKS. I'm going to put the SKS in B tier. I do think the SKS is solid. It's pretty cheap to run for the most part. I think if you're going to use a semi-auto gun, I think there are better options. And as you can see based off the list, I don't think it's bad though. I just think there are better options, which is why it is going in B tier. Now we have the 5.45 semi-automatic AK. I'm actually going to put this in B tier as well. It shoots 5.45x39, so, you can run BT, BS, 7N39, whatever you might want to run. And it's fairly cheap to mod. You just kind of buy the gun. When it comes to power and killing people, I think the SVD, SR25, SVT, RSAS, all those, I think they're just stronger, which is why this is going in B tier. Next up, we have the 3.66 semi-auto rifle, and this is also going to be a combination. There's a 7.62x39 semi-auto rifle. I'm just going to combine the both of them. Technically different guns, but just to make that clear. This is actually going to go D tier. And I say this specifically for the 3.66 rifle. I haven't actually used the 7.62x39 one like anytime recently. The only time I use it is when I'm on a scav. Very expensive to mod out, and the only usable ammo really is 3.66 AP once you get, later in the wipe. And then once you do, even if you do mod the gun out, you have the ammo. The gun suffers a lot from fire rate issue. It has a capped fire rate, so it doesn't actually fire as fast as you can click, unfortunately. So that's why it's going D tier. That will get you killed a lot of the time. The fire rate, well, at least. Next up, we have the Vepr Hunter. The Vepr Hunter is going to go in A tier. It's very cheap. Runs 7.62x51. Not a whole lot of modding that you have to do to it. I don't think it's better than the SVD or the RSAS, though. So that is why it is going to go in A tier. Now, the TX15. I'm going to put the TX15 in B tier above both the SKS and the 5.45 AK. I actually am a huge fan of the TX15. It's kind of expensive. I think the gun itself is like 100K or something like that. And it's a 5.56. I'm a sucker for 5.56 guns. I really like running 5.56. But I don't think it's better than any of the options in S and A. So that's why it is going to go in B tier. And our second to last gun we have here is the RFB, the RFB, or what it really stands for, really fucking bad. It is gonna go in C tier. I'm personally not a big fan of the RFB. It has really bad ergo. It shoots 7.62x51. It is actually pretty good. I'm a big ergo guy on my guns. When you're building a gun, if you can't get a lot of ergo, that's gonna kind of kill it for me. Or not even a lot. If you can't get like a decent amount of ergo on your gun, that's gonna kill it for me. And I've also just never been that big of a fan of this gun because you never tend to get it back in insurance, because once you take the mag out of it, it makes it one slot tall once you take the mag out of it. So a lot of people tend to take it if you die. Even like even if they have a gun on their back, people tend to take it because they can just throw it in their backpack if they take the mag out. So you never actually get it back in insurance, and that is why it is going in C tier. And last but not least, we have the ADAR. And hot take, I'm gonna put the ADAR in D tier. While it is, I do think it's better than the 366 rifle. I don't think it's very good because it also has an issue with the capped fire rate. And then there's not too much modding that you can do with the ADAR, because I don't see a point to mod out an ADAR, because if you're gonna mod out an ADAR, you might as well just go and use an M4 or even a TX15. And I just really don't like the gun in general, so that's why I'm gonna put it in D tier. But anyways, that is my semi-auto rifles list. Let me know down in the comments what you would have done differently and what you think of my list. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and good luck in your Tarkov raids.